Quagga. At first glance, this animal looks like other animals in a weird way. From the front, it looks like a zebra, but look at it from the side and voila, now it's a horse, and its legs are like a donkey's, short and strong. Quaggas were wild beasts, but people still managed to tame some of them. Unfortunately, this creature lived only a couple of hundred years after being discovered, until 1883, and then hunters exterminated them. But don't feel bad, science doesn't stand still. At the end of the 20th century, a project was launched to restore this species, and perhaps someday we'll be able to look at the quagga. Steller's sea cow. Human beings have exterminated no other animal as quickly as this one. Just imagine, just 27 years passed from the moment it was discovered to the moment it completely disappeared. People had begun to hunt them a long time before that, but in 1768 the creature disappeared completely from the face of the earth. Of course, some people claim they saw small flocks of these animals, but there's no official confirmation of this. Passenger pigeon. This creature is a sad example of how people exterminate even the most numerous species of living beings. The thing is that the passenger pigeon was one of the most common birds on Earth, and their total number was estimated at almost 5 billion specimens. Just imagine this, a flock of passenger pigeons in the sky could spread for 240 miles. Many factors played a role on the extinction of these birds. The main problem was massive hunting because of their delicious meat. The decline in population was gradual, and people thought that there was nothing wrong with that. However, the last passenger pigeon in the wild was seen in 1900. Western black rhinoceros. Almost 5 years ago, the last western black rhinoceros died. People had been trying to save it for several decades in a row, but the measures weren't enough. Poachers were much quicker and more resourceful. Black rhinos led a solitary life, and besides they had very poor eyesight. At a distance of 1.5 feet, they weren't able to tell a person from a tree trunk. Perhaps this is the reason why they couldn't stand up for themselves. Nevertheless, the superstition about the miraculous healing power of their horns caused the destruction of its population, although scientists never confirmed that. What a shame. Javan tiger. Until the 19th century, this animal could be found throughout the island of Java. But as it turned out later, this tiger regularly bothered the locals, and this probably became one of the reasons why people hunted them massively. No one knows the exact time of extinction of the Javan tigers, but scientists believe that it happened in the mid-1970s. By the way, every now and then people claim they've seen one of these animals, or even a female tiger with several cubs in Java, but there's no real evidence that these predators have survived in nature. And what if they really are hiding somewhere because they're afraid of people? Dear Javan tigers, please come back. We promise we won't hurt you again. Aurochs. The ancient wild bull is the ancestor of modern domestic cattle. The aurochs were very beautiful and powerful animals, with a muscular, slim body about 6 feet high at the shoulders and weighing up to 1,760 pounds. The high set head of the aurochs was crowned with long pointed horns. These wild bulls were strong and aggressive animals, and they easily coped with any predator. However, they failed to cope with humans. As a result of intensive hunting and deforestation, the animal was exterminated, and in 1627, the last of the aurochs on Earth died. Moa. Unfortunately nowadays, these creatures exist only in pictures. These birds were huge and had no wings. Moas had powerful paws, a long neck, and their feathers covered almost their entire body. The creature was absolutely harmless, and in addition, herbivorous. The bird fed on various fruits, roots, shoots, and leaves. They were peaceful, and it seemed that Moas had nothing to fear until the 13th century, when Maori Aborigines appeared in New Zealand and began hunting these birds for meat. And already in the early 1500s, the tribes completely exterminated the feathered giants. Tasmanian tiger. This is actually a wolf, but it was named a tiger because of its striped back. But that's not the only weird thing about it. The Tasmanian tiger actually had a pouch because it was a marsupial. So at first sight it looked like a normal dog, but few know that this beast could easily jump on its hind legs like a kangaroo. The female species had a pouch where they carried their cubs. At the end of the 19th century, this animal was considered a sheep thief, causing great losses to farming. and it was cruelly exterminated. The Australian government even offered awards for the killed predators, and in 1936, the last Tasmanian tiger on Earth died in a Tasmanian zoo. Pinta Island tortoise. These animals from the uninhabited island of Pinta have long been considered extinct. Humankind exterminated most of these tortoises in the 19th century, and in the mid-20th century, scientists were ready to endure and officially declare it an extinct species. But in 1971, they discovered Lonesome George, who made its species worldwide famous. This discovery gave biologists a hope for the renewal of the species, but no matter how scientists tried to get offspring from him, the male just wasn't interested in the opposite sex. For this, he was picked as the most famous bachelor in the world, and in 2012, George died, thus ending the existence of the Pinta Island turtles. Zanzibar leopard. Now it's time for some dark magic. These spotted animals were killed purposefully and very actively. However, it wasn't because of its meat or skin, and not in order to save the cattle from predator attacks. The fact is that the population of the Zanzibar archipelago was convinced that these leopards had something to do with witches, and that evil witches specially bred and trained these animals, and then sent the leopards to do black deeds for them. The campaign to exterminate these animals began in the second half of the 1960s, and after 30 years, almost no predators were left in the wild. Scientists were already alarmed in the early 90s of the last century, but it was too late. Barbary lion. This animal was considered the largest subspecies of the lion. A huge, magnificent mane covered the entire front part of its body and was darker than in the rest of the representatives. Also, the Barbary lion had a very powerful body. Its huge muzzle was slightly wrinkled due to the folds of the skin forming on the broad forehead. All this made the predator a really desired trophy for the hunters, who were always eager to get the largest lions with the fluffiest manes. So, its impressive size and incredible fur played a cruel joke on this beast. They were completely exterminated. Chinese river dolphin. You probably know that dolphins are one of the smartest animals in the world, but even they couldn't escape the fate of extermination. The Chinese river dolphin, also known as baiji, was an elegant mammal of light grey colour with the abdomen shimmering in silvery white hues. These animals were more likely to be found above the water, since they could only dive for 20 seconds. Despite the fact that Chinese people worship these river creatures, they still couldn't save this incredible species. River pollution, land drainage, and feed reduction finished the existence of these dolphins. Caribbean monk seal. We know all of you like pictures of funny seals, but few people think that even these cuties can be on the verge of extinction. The Caribbean monk seal was seen for the last time in 1952, but scientists declared the animal officially extinct only in 2008. Who dared to treat these lovely creatures so cruelly? The whole point is that in the 18th and 19th centuries, the species was subjected to mass destruction. Europeans used the fat of monk seals as oil for lamps and lubrication for machines. Ugh, poor animals. Now we just want to learn magic and wave our magic wands and say a spell. Something like Expecto Monk-Celium. Iberian ibex. Do you think it's impossible to clone extinct animals? Technically, it's already been done. The Iberian ibex has recently become the first resurrected animal. Although the baby died 7 minutes after birth due to lung problems, it's still considered a huge scientific achievement. By the way, these animals have strangely bad karma. For example, the last known Iberian ibex died in an absolutely ridiculous way. A fallen tree crushed it. For a long time, people massively exterminated these animals, so it's even ironic now that we're trying to bring it back to life. Dodo. For more than 300 years, no one has seen a live dodo bird. These large, flightless birds lived on the island of Mauritius, located in the Indian Ocean, and didn't care about anything. But in the beginning of the 16th century, Europeans began to stop here often. They caught these clumsy innocent birds with their bare hands, and later, humans finally settled on the island, and the dogs and cats they brought destroyed the eggs and babies of the last dodos. As a result, at the end of the 17th century, every single bird was exterminated. It took people only 2 centuries. Good job, guys. And those who saw these birds alive can now no longer tell how they really looked. Therefore, modern zoologists know what the Mauritian dodo looked like only by sailors' descriptions and drawings. Unfortunately, we'll never see any of the animals on our list again. But hopefully with time, science will develop and it will be possible to artificially recreate extinct species and to have a full variety of animals on our planet again. If you like animals and don't want them to be exterminated again, give us a like. Amazing gadgets, upcoming technologies, incredible inventions, and other cool stuff related to high tech on TechZone. Subscribe, you won't regret it. The link is on the screen and in the description.
Thanks for watching. Please like and share the video in social networks, and we'll be right back to you as fast as we can.